In this video we're going to have a look at modelling a computer keyboard key. I'll go through this with a little bit more step by step. So starting out with a new scene, I'm going to go into shaded mode, out of shaded mode into wireframe mode, using the Z key to fly out the display menu. You could also use the menus on the top here. Now I'm going to go into edit mode with tab, make sure I'm on vertexes, and I'm going to select the top vertexes only using control. So you can use shift, left mouse, click and drag to select, and control to deselect. Then I'm going to go to the top view. So for the top view we're using the tilde key and top. And then we're going to use the scale tool, and if we want to scale across all axes we just use the circle, or we could press the S key. So I'm just going to eyeball this to where I think it would be good. Then I'm going to use the middle mouse to tumble. Let's go to a side view, select the move tool, hold control and drag. So we just want to get this to be a similar shape to a key on a keyboard. Now if you've got keys in front of you, you should be able to do this quite easily. So I'm going to do it like that. Then I'm going to move into the edge mode, and I'm going to select the edges here, and then I'm going to press the right mouse button and select Bevel Edges. So as I pull, I'm away from the center, I'm going to get the bevel distance, and if I roll the middle mouse button I can choose how many times my bevel works. So I'm just going to do this to something that looks about right, and then left mouse to click. Now before we press anything else, I'm just using the middle mouse to tumble around. We actually get the bevel function here, so we could be a little bit more specific if we wanted to. So let's make this offset a little bit more accurate to 0.2. And using an accuracy like that just helps a little bit more. And then if we left mouse click, that will go away. So now we've got the button looking something like how we should. I'm going to offset this face. So I'm going to select the face here, and I'm going to offset it using the offset inset faces. I'm just going to push down, and that will offset inside. There we go. And then I'm going to go back to edge mode, and I'm going to select the loop of edges that's around here using the Alt key. So then I can take this edge and I can actually bevel this edge same way. Just pull away from the edge, and that's going to just give me that little bit of roundness towards the edge of that bevel, the edge of that key. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this center face again, this one here. I'm just going to move it down slightly, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the proportional fall off, and I'm going to use a spherical proportional fall off. As I push down, you can see that the fall off is inside the circle. And what I want to do is I just want to change the proportional size that we're using there. So you can see that we can control this. There we go. Now the best way to do this now is to actually go into our shaded mode, viewport shading, and what I want to do is if I click on the viewport shading and then click on this little arrow here, I can change the type of material finish by using matte cap, and on here I can select a highly reflective one. So let's use, say, this car paint shader. There we can see that's quite reflective. And what I can actually do is I can come out of edit mode with tab and right mouse click, shade smooth. So this is just going to give me an idea of what that key is starting to look like. Now I'm going to put a a couple of cuts here, and I'm actually going to just create a little bit of an indent here as well, because on the keys that I have there sort of is a little bit of an indent on those bits as well. So let's go back to edit mode, and let's go and select the edge loop cut, and you can use Control R on the keyboard, so anywhere where I put this it will put the loop cut in. Now at the moment it won't cut across the faces because we haven't got a quad topology in there, so we can actually solve that quite quickly. So I'm going to bring in the knife tool, and I'm going to select this vertex and this vertex and press enter, and this vertex and this vertex and press enter, and currently it's snapping to those vertexes. Now if I select this one and this one, you can see it's just added 2 extra vertexes in for me, and this one, and again it's added those extra vertexes in for me. So we've got these extra vertexes in the middle. So now if we go back to the edge loop cut, you can see that we've got that in there, and we'll just open up the divisions, so we'll have 3 in there, and the same here, we'll have 3 in there. Okay, so now what we can do is we can go back to that proportional editing tool, and what I want to do is I want to select the 2 main crosses. So we're going to select this set of vertexes, and we're going to select this set of vertexes, make sure we get them all, and then we're going to use the move tool, and we've still got proportional editing on, and we're just going to drop those down a little bit. Now the proportional editing is not as strong, so let's just bring that up a little bit more. There we go, and as you can see we've got this nice sort of drop away now on the edges of those keys. So if we come out of edit mode, now we can see that that key is looking very well finished. So if we will go to a profile view, you can see we've got this lovely little fall off curve as we would expect. So we've fixed the topology on the top, now let's fix it on the bottom. So if we go back to edit mode, and the topology on the bottom, as you can see, has a few errors, and obviously we need to fix those. So let's fix those first with the knife tool again. So we'll just select this vertex and this one, press enter, this vertex to this one, and this vertex to this one. There we go. So we've got those vertexes in, they're looking good. If I want to check to see if I've got multi-vertexes selected, let's just select over here, and we can see that the number of vertexes is 1 of 202. So we haven't got any duplicates there, that's good. All those are connected properly, and they're looking good. That's what it would be. Edit preferences, if we just put the loop, mesh loop tools, add that add-on, and when you right mouse click you get the extra curves, so you can actually convert that to a circle. So this is really useful. We've got it currently to best fit, we could have it to fit inside. Best fit seems to work. So we're going to use that, and then we're going to take these faces, 1, 2, 3, don't want that one, let's just undo that. If I go back to shaded mode, it's easier to select these faces, because I can just scale these out using the scale function, and I'm going to use this to create an extrusion straight down, and this is sort of the sort of peg that the object sits on. So we could have added a few more extra cuts if we wanted. There's space for these, so we could probably go and do that before we go to that circle tool. So let's add those in, and we might have a bit more geometry to play with. So let's go back to the knife tool
and just go across here, and let's do this one. Doesn't really matter the order that which we do them in. This one, put that one to this one. When it goes red, you're on the vertex.
There we go. Is that all of them? I think it is. So we can now select all of those. We've got all of those selected, as you can see. We don't need these ones selected though. So let's take those out. and we can use the loop circle tool there. As you can see, we've got a much tighter circle there, so we can actually go in now and select these, turn off the influence, just drop this down, and we could probably convert that as well, so we could make this a little bit easier to see. So let's just drop these in, add the circle modifier to that on LoopTools circle. Let's just scale that down, and then let's go back to this loop cut. So number 2 on the keyboard, select that edge with Alt. So it won't actually pick the edge up. That's because it thinks it's a square still. So there we go, and we can just then bring that in, and then we can use the extrude function straight down. So one of the things that we could do whilst we're in this mode is we could bevel that edge like this, and we only want one bevel, and then from there we could actually convert that to faces, and we could actually just extrude that down using the extrude tool. So now we've got that sort of great looking finish. If I added a loop cut, say here, that's quite useful, and maybe another one, we could use those loop cuts to create an artificial bevel. So this would then allow us to select these edges again, just whip round, just using the shift key, and I could actually just extrude those out a little bit more, like that. And we've got a bit of a bevel going on there, just underneath. So that's given us the shape of the key. Quite happy with that. We've not textured it yet, so we've got that to do, but that's giving us a good idea of what that shape would be looking like for that key.